my 22-term congressman has done nothing for Harlem. And you know why? Because he is in the pockets of the banks and the real estate industry. There are very few Congress members who have received as much funding from the real estate industry as has Congressman Charles Rangel. Adriana Espaillat, state senator, is in the pocket of every real estate developer whom he has run across. We need another alternative. We can no longer talk about, well, the Democratic Party is the lesser of the two evils. No, that is not what you have to settle for. There is an alternative. And here in the 13th Congressional District, we're telling you that that alternative is Danny Vila, born and raised here in Harlem, has been a member of every major protest and working class struggle that you can name, working with tenants' rights organizations, working against every war launched in the interest of U.S. imperialism. That has been Danny Vila, working for a minimum wage law, not just $15 an hour, but more than that. A person and an activist who has worked tirelessly on behalf of workers and against wage theft. Yes, wage theft, because your meager wages were stolen from you in every way, every single day. Every single day. And the corporations are here in Harlem as they have transformed this corridor, named after Dr. Martin Luther King, where they have a cheap labor pool, no union shops, and not a major politician, black or Dominican or white, have talked about the need for a union shop in these industries, and Red Lobster, and all of the apparel industries that are now here in Harlem. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have an alternative. Brothers and sisters, yes we do, and yes we can, and yes we will, and this is not the yes we can lies and hypocrisy of Barack Obama or Charlie Rangel or Adriana Espaillat or Reverend Michael Warren. It is a working class platform, a working class message of unity that our candidate for the 13th Congressional District, Danny Vila, will bring to this campaign. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you that candidate, Danny Vila.
I'd like to thank Nellie Bailey for that beautiful, that wonderful introduction. I'd also like to say that for me, for those that do not know Nellie Bailey has been an activist for Harlem tenants for decades, for many decades, fighting for the rights of Harlem and fighting against gentrification. For those people that do not know her, for those people that do not know Nellie Bailey, she has been the only person in Harlem to organize demonstrations against the war. Right here, we mobilized 10,000 people. 10,000 people soon after the United States invaded Afghanistan and after it attacked Iraq. Nellie Bailey also organized with tenants and with activists in Harlem and anti-war activists and labor activists throughout the city. Huge demonstrations against the war. Unfortunately, no other organization, no other political organization or group did that in Harlem. Over the years, the only person who has done that has been basically single-handedly Nellie Bailey, and we take off our hats to Nellie for that. Thank you, Nellie. We'd also like to point out that we feel proud and honored to be in front of the statue of Adam Clayton Powell. Now, Adam Clayton Powell, we are running for Congress under the Green Party. We will be the only candidate against whoever the Democratic Party decides to nominate after the primaries on June 24th. There will not be a Republican Party candidate. We're running on the Green Party, so we will be there. Please remember our face, remember our program, read about us. We would like to say, however, although this gentleman, the statue of the gentleman behind us, was a Democrat, he was a Democrat, but if he was alive today, he'd be a revolutionary. Because Adam Clayton Powell was literally chased out of the Congress because of his militant politics in favor of the Harlem community which he represented, and in favor of working people, especially African Americans, and at that time Latinos, mostly in Harlem, and we're talking about Puerto Ricans at that particular period. In any case, things have changed a lot since the time of Adam Clayton Powell, who incidentally also spoke at my high school graduation at Benjamin Franklin High School, 1968. But today, things have changed. If Adam Clayton Powell was alive today and he saw Harlem the way it is, he'd literally flip out. You know, he would not have tolerated this type of gentrification, this type of so-called development in Harlem. It is not development. When you displace poor people, working families who have built this for many, many decades, and you bring in all these corporations, taking the money out of our pockets, that is not progress. That is going back. And in fact, the money that these corporations take out of Harlem is just like in Puerto Rico. You know, corporations in Puerto Rico take out over $200 billion a year, over $200 a year, $200 billion, and it goes to the U.S. corporate pockets in the U.S. Same thing happens in Harlem. Citibank, Planet Fitness, Verizon, Lazarus, Metro PCS, McDonald's, whatever, all these corporations, none of them invested back into Harlem, and they all very happily pay workers minimum wage if they have to do it, but they'll try to not even do that. One of the main points in our program is precisely at the federal level to push for $15 minimum wage, and not a gradual $15 minimum wage. That is not something that is going to take 8 or 7 years. A minimum wage, $15 period, right off the dot. In some cities, they have passed ordinances for $12 minimum wage or $15 minimum wage, but they tell you they're going to give it to you in 6 or 7 years. That makes no sense. By that time, those $15 are worth the $15. So we're pushing, one of the key points that we're pushing is for especially the low-income wages, workers working for those miserable wages, to have a $15 minimum wage. But, you know, this all goes beyond money. Sister Nellie Bailey pointed out the $68 billion that are being given to the banks. Just give it away to the banks. Imagine if somebody gave you millions of dollars for not doing anything. That's what's going on right now. They're giving $68 billion every month to these banks, Citibank and so on and so forth. And we don't know anything about that. We don't have any say in that, but it's given away just like that. What we're saying is that that money has to be invested in our communities. The first and foremost, raising the minimum wage. The other thing is right off the bat, creating jobs, 20 million jobs across this country with that money. Easy thing to do. It could be done, but of course they prefer to give it to the banks. We're also proposing free medical care for everyone. There is no reason why people have to be starving, literally choosing to pay their medical bills or their rent or the food. We say everybody should have all three. And what we're proposing is that the $68 billion that are being given away to the corporations, to Wall Street, they be used for the interest of working people. But this goes beyond money. This goes beyond money. There's a matter of power. Esto tiene que ver mucho con el poder político. You could have all the money in the world. We could have a redistribution of wealth, but that doesn't solve the basic problem, because the basic problem is not the money or how it's distributed, is who is controlling political power, economic power, who is controlling the wealth, who is the owner. More than controlling is who is the owner. In the long run, only if working people get together and decide that we're going to be the owners of this economy, of everything that is produced, of all the stores, all the industry, transportation, and so on and so forth, communications, only when working people are the owners, that's when we're going to find a little bit of justice. A little bit of justice, because it's a long-range fight. It's going to take decades. But as long as we're just fighting for the meager crumbs that the capitalists, the ruling class, are throwing our way, we will never really progress and get to the point where we have to get, which is political power for working people, political power for working people. In the meantime, we have a program, a modest reform program. We're pushing for, again, as Nellie Bailey pointed out, those $68 billion that are given monthly to the banks, to Wall Street. We want that money to be invested in social needs. We're going to push for $15 minimum wage. We're going to push for 20 million jobs to be created nationally with a works program, a public works program, which is one of the things which incidentally is not an impossible dream. It's not a fantasy. This was done in the during the Great Depression of the 1930s and 40s, using public monies to create public jobs, union scale jobs with good salaries. So that's in a nutshell, that is our program. Reform this system, push as much as we can for redistribution of the wealth. Push as much as we can for more and more power to working people. But we have to remember, as long as political power and the economic power is in the hands of these rich corporations, these powerful elites of Wall Street, we will not have the power. So in the long run, what we're pushing for is precisely for working people to take all of the power in this country, and then from a position of power to really rule this country and have a peaceful country, not only for ourselves, but also to stop, and the final point would be stop U.S. interventions globally. We do not need American men and women dying, killing for the corporate elite. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need young men and women in this country doing things for the betterment of here, right here in this country for Americans. So the final point that I'd like to point out is that we will end, or we will push for an end to U.S. foreign intervention in Africa, Asia, and in Latin America. Thank you so much for your attention. And please vote for Vila.
Green Party. Danny Vila for Congress, 13th District. You got a real choice this time. Danny Vila will work for our interests, not for the banks, not for the real estate interests. Danny Vila for Congress. Got a real choice this time. Some of them will work for us.
Daniel Vila for Congress. Howie Hawkins for Governor.
Howie Hawkins for Governor. Danny Vila for Congress. Hawkins for Governor. Danny Vila for Congress.
Hawkins for Governor. Vila for Congress.
They will work for the people, not for the banks, the real estate interests, and Wall
Yeah.
It's becoming very expensive. Every action. Well, downtown Brooklyn is more expensive than downtown Manhattan. Downtown like Washington Heights. I used to have a friend in downtown Brooklyn Heights was more expensive. Yeah.
Howie Hawkins for Governor. Danny Vila for Congress.
Living in Uptown Washington Heights.
He'll represent us.
Well, he
Not the big shot. Elect Danny Vila to Congress, 13th District. turn down, George.
You turning right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you know if you turn. Go for another down.
You trying to signal somebody? Are we splitting up or what's going on?
They're in the back. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Wait, that was it?
You're going down Lex?
They're in the bathroom. George,
Are you going to go down Lex?
But we're going down to 116, yeah.
Are you going to repeat that story on the mic?
Yeah, we're gonna have a little meeting over there.
Pass Mark Sale?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's cross the street. Let's have that. They're in the back. Ladies room.
Development Corporation and the East Harlem Triangle that owns 49% of this lot, of this building. 49% is owned by the city of New York. Tearing down this Pathmark supermarket paves the way for the corporatization of 125th Street that extends from the Hudson River to the East Harlem River. And of course they want to tear down Pathmark because they don't want to have any working class and poor people on this block any longer. That's right. This Pathmark supermarket has been sold for $35 million to Extel, a luxury Development Corporation. They have private amenities for their people. It's a gated building. They will have all kinds of amenities so that the people won't have to come out and mingle with the working class people on this block. That's right, folks, you heard it right. And this is the sort of story and the opposition to this kind of development that Danny Vila will do with his campaign for Congress in the 13th Congressional District. Half-Mart Supermarket has been sold for $35 million to a luxury developer. It was not opposed by Congressman Rangel. It was not opposed by State Senator Adriana Espaillat. It was not opposed by Reverend Charles Warren, all of them Democrats. That's why we're asking for your support of the Danny Vila for Congress campaign. Take our flyer, join our campaign, because we stand in opposition to the selling of the Pathmark Supermarket as it has been sold for $35 million with the form of cargo.
You know, I used to be having daughters, right? And I said, hell no. My daughter's a little.
So we are here working in the district and you know you're working hard. That's right. You heard it right. This Pathmark Supermarket has already been sold for $35 million to a luxury developer, X-Town Development Company. And you heard it from the Danny Vila campaign, Danny Vila for Congress in the 13th Congressional District.
And I am Daniel Vila, running for Congress. Please don't forget, working people have no power in Soul Avenue to be it. And Congress for poor people within this place, only you can change it. You can change it if you make your mind to vote against the Democrats and Republicans who have been voting us for years. Vote for the Green Party, vote for Daniel Vila for Congress. Thank you. Okay, no, thank you so much. Take care, Nellie. Superhero, okay? Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yeah, I gotta go. I have to take a break.
Dallas State.
If you all talk shit, niggas see the niggas making like it's shit. It goes up to me. Everything is done. Ellos están, los pobres de la área, los son los más pobres, pero los que estaban aquí en los más pobres todavía. Y era peligroso. What happened to Wesley? She went to the bathroom. Supposed to be our first speaker over there. We don't have a moderator. Be the moderator? You'll be the moderator, Willie? Yeah, for the coffee. What are you doing? What's going on? You all right? No more times. Yeah, no more times. Yeah, bro. But it's a full service postal window inside the Staples. If that works, wow, Staples. Other big retailers like Walmart and Target. So eventually, exactly, and there'll be no more window clerks in the stations.
And who will be the employees?
The employees will be people making $9 an hour with no benefits.
But who, are they going to be postal workers?
No, they're not postal workers. Right now, they're Staples associates.
Oh, they'll be like working for the store that you...
Yeah, they could be over there selling pencils 1 second, and then they're behind a postal window.
Yeah.
By the way, a postal worker, a postal clerk, a window clerk gets 80 hours of training before they go on that window to make sure they handle your mail properly.
Right.
They get 40 hours in the classroom, and they get 40 hours with another clerk standing over their shoulder.
There's a lot you have to know. That's true.
Staples gets 4 hours. 4 hours in the classroom instead of 80. And that's all the training they get. And then they're out there. They don't know what hazardous material is. They don't know anything. It's pure and simple union busting. That's what it's all about.
You're talking to a woman who's supposed to...
Yeah.
You could never get past the cash. Try to get...
They did away with the casualties. The last contract. No more casualties. You gotta take a test now.
So my brother is July 25th and my mother is July 27th.
I have to go.
Okay, all right.
All right, Danny, thank you. Thank you, officer. Thank you.
George, really, finally.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I was calling her.
Hey, there she is.
You don't answer the phone.
You call me?
I called you.
You know the questions that
working hours. The figures are from 19th century England. But in chapter 10, volume 1 of Captain Marx quotes a whole thing for that, how many hours they worked in England in the 19th century. It's just the same kind of numbers that we got working. Craig was trying to say that something to the hospital.
Well,
but they did 16 hours a day.
Well, one of the Census Bureau used to do, when they did finally count people, they made the maximum limit 10 hours a day. So if you worked more hours, for example, the men who were the post office, they work, we know for a fact they work 12 hours a week. Because there were separate statistics on that. But if there weren't any, we wouldn't know that.
But there's statistics. There's statistics on a lot of statistics on 19th century England that Marx used to track the time.
I'm going home.
I worked 84 hours.
Person, human being, it's expensive. You know, you got to get parts, especially today. Human being is not all over the place. Take his carcass, throw it in a dumpster, go out and get somebody off the line that's looking for a job. Boom, you're in. The less valuable to them than you got to put out of it. And they care more about their machines than they care about people.
They got the reserve army of the unemployed.
Yeah, exactly. The reserve army of the unemployed. Exactly.
Well, even in the United States, but I mean, the issue was that the industry was willing to give them a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
Because after 10 hours, the men would fall asleep and they would cause fires.
Oh, you have to.
Right? But in the meantime, the point was that they argued that, no, it's unconstitutional. But it wasn't an issue of the employer. It was an issue of the ideology. That was allowed. It wasn't an issue of the employer.
What they do in the sweatshops in Haiti, where there's an 8-hour day enforced. Okay. That ain't, you gotta produce so many t-shirts and so many belts or whatever you're sewing in those 8 hours, right? There's a quota. Let's say you gotta make 75 t-shirts. Now let's say you got your 8 hours in. I only got 50 t-shirts. You gotta keep working. Don't pay. Or you beat the
For example, one trick I do a lot is when I meet somebody born in the first half of July, in January, I say, I know something you love, which of course gets their attention.
Sure.
And then I say, books.
All I can say is I cut all
Oh, wow, yeah.
Hold these for just a second.
Let's go and take this higher license.
Right over there. I'll get your flyer.
Shoot! Boom!
No hay mucho, Kardashians and the Koch brothers.
Yeah, and
Who's the ruling class? The people.
Are you part of the ruling class?
no, absolutely
You're not the people of the United States?
People in the United States.
Is in this country run by the people of the United States?
Buenas tardes. Le damos la bienvenida. We are against the corporate elite dominating every single facet of our life. That is our campaign. That is what it's based on. We're going to have a few speakers here. We're not going to torture you too much. We're going to have John Reynolds from the Green Party saying a few words. Working people, we're defending the rights of Afro-American nation. We're defending the rights of immigrants, the rights of low-wage workers that cannot survive on the miserable minimum wage that they have. We believe all people have to unite and change this country and strive for taking power. Not just miserable reforms like we're having a legislator. That will be the first step. We hope if we win that we will be able to build working people's power in this country. The first speaker is John Reynolds, one of the people who got us into this campaign with one of his initiatives and also Town Syracuse. Hello? Hear me.
Good afternoon, everybody, brothers and sisters. Hello? Okay. There's a lot of young people here, older people. I'm a little bit older than many of you. 50 years ago, it was Mississippi Freedom Summer. Then there was the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Fannie Lou Hamer and a delegation of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Delegation of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party went to the Democratic convention, and LBJ and Humphrey and Mondale offered them, I think, 2 seats. And Fannie Lou Hamer, I think she said, well, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I don't know about you. I think I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired too. So we do have a choice. Are you sick and tired of having your post office closed? Are you sick and tired? We have a candidate, Daniel Vila, who will stop the post office closing. Oh, I'm sorry. Democrats will not do that. We know they will not do that. So on November 4th, you vote for Daniel Vila and the Green Party line. Are you sick and tired of having... Are you sick and tired of having schools closed and schools privatized by charter schools? You're sick and tired of privatization of schools and closings of schools. Vote Daniel Vila, Green Party, November 4th. You're sick and tired of having a healthcare system that doesn't work for you or works for the rich. We stand for a single-payer health care plan, universal health care for all, free health care for all. So vote Daniel Vila and Howie Hawks for governor, Daniel Vila for Congress, and November 4th. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker will be John Denny. John Denny, a retired postal worker, a firebrand, a man who has defended the rights of working people all his life. El próximo orador va a ser John Denny, un trabajador del sistema postal de toda su vida y un hombre que ha defendido los intereses de los trabajadores de manera humilde y muy combativa.
Buenas tardes a todos! Danny said I've been involved in a fight to save the post office from privatization. I'm looking across the street. I see a U.S. Postal Service is now the UPS store. What kind of shit is this? The USPS is the people's post office. It doesn't belong to any corporation. Why are we in this difficulty that we're in today? Because of a law that Congress passed in 2006, making us pre-fund our health benefits 75 years into the future. People would tell you the Republicans did it. Yeah, they did. The Democrats did it too. Charlie was in Congress then. He voted for that bill. We need real representation in Congress. We don't need the jive that the Democratic Party tries to pull over our eyes all these years. Charlie has been nowhere to be seen in the fight to preserve the Harlem and the Bronx post offices. We had a hearing about the Tito Puente post office up on 124th Street. Where was Charlie? I don't know. He wasn't there. We had a hearing about the College Station post office on 140th Street. Where was Charlie?
Where was Charlie?
I don't know.
You seen him?
He wasn't there. But I know where we've had fights to fight the Staples thing, where we've had fights to return mail processing to the Bronx. I knew who was there. It wasn't Charlie. It was Danny. Daniel Vila.
With you, Ralph Poynter.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, don't pass by here without taking literature, because this literature could save your life. This literature could save your community. This literature could change the way you live and think. Now, the way we've been living and thinking is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It's called insanity. We have to change what we have been doing to get a change. We have to understand the truth. We have to stop listening to the big lie. And what is the big lie? The big lie is about everything. And the first thing that we have to concern ourselves with today is the so-called two-party system. Mr. Chavez from Venezuela told us about that two-party system a long time ago. He said it is the dictatorship of the two-party system. It doesn't matter who you vote for, they do the same thing. And who was the first person to complain about Chavez telling us the truth? It was Charlie Rangel, because he's a part of the dictatorship of the two-party system. Vote Democrat or Republican and nothing changes. It all stays the same. Now, we know what imperialism is. When they send an army and take over your country and take all of their materials, raw materials, and all of the people's rights. That's called imperialism. But there's another type of imperialism. It's called metaphysical imperialism. That's when they tell a lie, and it's just a lie when they tell it, but when you believe it, it's metaphysical imperialism, and it harms you. We believe that we can vote for a Democrat or a Republican and get a different country when we've been doing it for years and we have the same country. We have invasion, imperialist invasion of countries like Vietnam to take their raw materials. What do? They lie to young men, telling them they're going to support their country by going to war. And what happens? They lose their lives, they lose their health, they lose their future, and they come home and they don't have a decent medical care. That's metaphysical imperialism. They believe the lie. They went and lost everything, but the Democrats and the Republicans have our money. They have our future. They pass criminal laws like subprime loans. You lose your future, you lose your house. It's a criminal document. And we know that 65 to 70% of the people who signed those criminal documents, Latinos and blacks, were eligible for regular loans. Metaphysical imperialism It steals your home and steals your future. We know that this same government will tell you over and over again they're looking out for you, but the air is poison. The air we breathe is poison. The water we drink is poison.
You said it was yours.
The food we eat is poison. And it's just a lie if you understand it. But if you don't understand it, it's metaphysical imperialism, and we're all going to go to the hospital for cancer because we're all going to get it. They tell you that privatization is good. Well, if you study the facts, you know that privatization is a lie. It's pushed by Democrats, it's pushed by Republicans, but the facts will tell you nothing changes except the same people who have been stealing your money and your future have done it one more time the moment you believe it. And you can show them that you don't believe it when you go to the ballot box and vote for somebody who's going to work for you. And you can only find that out by doing it. What we know is the history of the Democrat and Republican parties. And the history is that we are in trouble. We have to show them that we're not going to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. We have to change ourselves. You want your children to be educated? You want to have an economy? We have to take it back. In the words of Lynn Stewart, we have to recognize that America, like a junkie hooked on drugs, is hooked on cheap labor. Both parties promise us an immigration reform bill. Neither party gives us an immigration reform bill. What is that about? That's about if you don't have immigration status, you cannot organize in order to have a decent wage, a decent way of life. Metaphysical imperialism. They are stealing our ability to organize to make a decent living. What we have is the new slavery, but it's not the new slavery, it's new people in slavery. People who do not have immigration status are in slavery. It's the same slavery, but different people involved. We must change all of those issues. We must show that we understand what is going on. We must not accept metaphysical imperialism. We must make everyone understand it's a lie. And the moment we understand it's a lie, then we're free. Now, how do we let them know that we understand it's a lie? We simply go to the booth, the voting booth, and pull the proper lever. Not the same one we've been pulling over the years, not the same one that steals from us over the years, not the same one that gives us false promises. And let us look at the man in the White House today. He's the master of false promises. The Democratic Party. And as Fannie Lou Hamer said many, many years ago, 1965, we are ready for freedom. But the black loyalist Democrats are not. And I'm going to include the Latino loyalist Democrats who are not ready for freedom. We have to make a change. We have to free our brothers from Puerto Rico. We have to have a congressperson who says no to their imprisonment. I'm talking about Oscar Rivera Lopez. He has to be free. We're talking about the Cuban Five. They must be free. And we must say that we support them because we are going to stand up against those who oppose decency and democracy for everyone. Take one of these flyers. Do not walk by. Be ready to let them know you are no longer fools. We are no longer fools. We are going to show that we are going to make a change. You have to make the change first. You make the change by letting people know that we understand. How do we do it? We go to the voting booth and say, no more. And we have this opportunity. We've been given this opportunity to say no more to those who have been stealing from us all of these years. Those who have been lying to us about everything all of these years. Take the flyer, go to the voting booth, and say, no more.
No more.
Yes, to Daniel Vila for Congress, 13th District. Get out there and vote. Show your understanding, show your awareness, show your willingness to fight that. Thank you for listening in.
Okay, we want to thank everybody for your support. Daniel Vila here. Again, I'm a candidate, 13th District. We're running for the position which is presently held by Charlie Rangel, a man who has done an excellent job defending the interests of corporate America, of the rich, and of keeping poor people poor. Rangel has done an excellent job of making sure that gentrification and displacement, the removal of poor people from their homes continues. We want to change it. We want to make sure that it's working people that control this country. We want to do things to the benefit of the working people that produce all of the wealth. We want to invest the $68 billion that is given to corporate America on Wall Street every single month. Invest that money in housing, medical care, free services, create 20 million jobs in this country, raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour, at least $15 an hour. I want to thank you again. We're going to be running against whoever it is that wins the primary on the Democrats on the 24th of February. 13th District for Congress. Please vote for me, for Daniel Vila. I want to thank everybody who has taken part in this event today. Thank you so much. And we hope to continue doing work in the interest of working people, of poor people, of the middle class of this city, small business owners, street vendors. Thank you very much. Take care. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
As you know, we've decided to accept the invitation of the leadership of the Green Party, specifically in the Manhattan area, to run for the 13th District for Congress. However, as you've seen from the literature, our program is a little bit more oriented, I think, than in the past, in terms of working class people, working class interests, at least at the community level. A program in terms of the minimum wage, using the resources, for example, all those billions that they give to, whether it be 68 billion or 85 billion monthly to Wall Street, to invest that in the people's needs in this country. As a congressperson, one would have that authority at least to be pushing for those things, in addition to being opposed to all these ridiculous wars with no ends, and pushing for a sane policy regarding the environment. So we don't know what possibilities, what probabilities we have of winning. As we see it at this point, there's only going to be two persons. And that's the way it is going to be. There will be just two candidates appearing on the ballot for the 13th District. Whoever wins the primary of the 24th of June, and myself. There will be no Democratic, no Republican Party candidate. So that will make it pretty interesting. And the way we've been talking about, at least in the meetings that we've had here, this campaign, we would hope, we launched it yesterday very successfully. It was a fantastic walk from 125th Street and Adam Clayton Powell to Lexington Avenue and 116th Street. We were on 125th and Lexington. The environment there was a little bit similar to 116th Street because people tend to congregate there and mill around, whereas on 125th and Adam Clayton Powell, people just pass by. It's like a plaza. Building. Yeah. Plaza, yeah. Huge plaza, and it's almost alienating. So we've had good demonstrations there led by Nellie Bailey against the war with 5, 8, 10,000, a couple of them several years ago, and packed that place. And it's good for those types of events, but sometimes for a small event it can be a little bit, feel like it's not enough people. In any case, we plan to have that, that's the type of campaign that I hope that we can have. I use the internet every day for about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours almost every day. And I say that if I had one wish, it would be to eliminate cell phones and the internet, because that would force us to talk to each other the way, looking at your faces, we're all pretty much of the same generation. Once upon a time when we were in Manhattan Community College, we took over that college twice, and we took over City College back in the 70s twice, demanding, against the war, demanding more so-called minority students' interest. We did it all knocking door by door. And today it's so difficult with the internet. We have hundreds of people on the list to be able to get 50 people, and we'll be able to get hundreds of persons easier that way, I think, and establishing phone trees. In any case, we have what we have. We will be using the internet, I hope, and using Facebook and all of these little electronic gadgets. But frankly, to tell you the truth, what I really love is the type of campaign that we had at the luncheon yesterday, where we're forced to talk to people on the street. They're able to ask you questions. You're able to sign people up. People size you up. You size people up. Probably one of the best exchanges I had yesterday was with a veteran. He seemed like he was a Vietnam-era veteran, and he asked me so what are you offering? And since he told me he was a veteran, that's the first thing he said. I said, well, you know, I'm against all U.S. military interventions abroad that are not for the defense of the United States, you know, that are just interventions needlessly. I use the word imperialist interventions. And so I expected either for him to hit me with he was walking with crutches, hit me with the crutches, or to embrace me, and he literally, figuratively embraced me. He invited me to go to one of their meetings, which are held Thursdays, and these are veterans.
I'll take it.